Do something with your life. Do something with your life. Do something with your life.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl TJ here. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel, Fat2Fit Finance. Please be sure to subscribe, like, comment, share, everything. On this week's video, we are going to focus on the American dream, or what I like to actually call it, the American nightmare. Now, if you've never heard of James Truslow Adams, he wrote the book, The Epic of America. And in this book, he goes into detail about what the American dream should be. And to him, he painted a picture where it's a life that is better, richer, and fuller for everyone, regardless of their social class or the circumstances at birth, but more based on their actual ability and their achievement, the way a lot of us idealistically thinks that it should be. It's the typical rags to riches story that we all hear about in America and that so many think or work they can achieve. So what does that American dream, however, look like today, if we really want to be honest? You are married, you have a big house, you have 2.5 kids, you have a dog, the white picket fence, two awesome brand new cars that you drive. You know, that's what we now perceive as the American dream. I really like to call it the American nightmare. Why do I call it that? Because these people are walking around in overpriced rags on overextended credit that they can't afford, okay? So it's not actually an American dream. It is a facade, okay? If you've ever seen The Wolf of Wall Street, let's take a chapter out of the book of Matthew McConaughey, okay? It's a fugazi, it's fairy dust, okay? It's not actually real. Look at the cycle of life that we perpetuate as we grow up from a child until death. We go to school, we get a job, we get married, we have kids, we retire, and we die. That's pretty much the cycle of life, correct? And during that entire time, we are drowning or suffocating or burning, whatever is the scariest thing to you. That's what we're doing our entire life. And if you don't believe me, go ahead and look at the Ken and Barbie American dream that you may see in your neighborhood or walking up and down the street. You have this perfect life. But let me ask you a question. Do they have credit card debt? Are they still paying on their student loans 10 plus years later? Do they have car notes? And if they have a newer car, trust me, they probably have car notes. I highly doubt they just walked in and was like, yeah, here's $20,000 to $40,000 on this brand new 2016 car. Okay, so they probably have car notes. Also, if they were to miss one single paycheck in their household, would they still be able to make every single payment that they have due for that month without stressing out about it? Let me put it a different way for you. We live in a coma that is induced by debt. And that adrenaline shot that we're all going to get is going to be an emergency that we can't afford to actually take care of in cash. Why? Remember, 62% of Americans have less than $1,000 saved up to cover any emergency. So it's not an American dream. It is a nightmare that even Freddy Krueger himself would not want to be a part of. Just a fact. So we just went over what the American dream / actual nightmare looks like day to day with everyone that we know and come in contact with. So you're probably wondering, since I'm super weird, what does my American dream look like? I will show you in plain print. Okay? TJ's American dream is financial security. So you may still be asking, what exactly do you mean by financial security, or how is that defined? Okay, there are some very simple, clear-cut rules in terms of how I feel financial security equals my American dream. A, I don't owe any debt payments. I have 0 debt payments. That is the American dream, part of it for our family. Outside of utilities and paying either the rent or the mortgage for the roof that is over our head, that's it. We don't have any actual debt payments, okay? We have a fully funded emergency fund, which means 3 to 6 months of our monthly expenses is put away somewhere, and it's never touched. It's never touched, ever. In event that we have an emergency, we can go to it. For example, when I told you that my husband was out of work for 3 months, the day, literally 1 month to the day after we were married, having an emergency fund that was fully funded at that point would have alleviated any stress. Did we get through it? Yes. Would we have gotten through it a little bit easier, or at least I would have gotten through it a little bit easier? without having to stress about, when he would be able to get a job next? Yes, because we would have had a fully funded emergency fund. Okay? The other part of our American dream, being able to send our kids to college debt-free. Not saying we won't make them work in school, put forth effort to get scholarships, but if they want to attend college, because I will go into a more in-depth video of how that's not a make or break thing in our household for our children when we have them, but in the event they do want to go to college, whatever they want to do in life, they need to pursue a college degree. We want them to go and pursue that without debt. We want to change our family tree. We don't want to perpetuate this blind cycle that I have to get student loans and the only way that I can fund a college education is by going into debt. That is not something we want. That is totally off the table for our children when we have them. Also, being able to give back to our parents in a way that so many can't. Think about the different things you would like to do for your parents. We have all of those in mind. We want to be able to give them every single thing that we can. It'll never be enough for the way they raised us. It will never be enough for the unconditional love that we have experienced throughout our entire lives. But we want to be in positions where being able to do the most random, what people may think is extravagant gifts of love for our parents, we want that. And I know we will be in a position to do that. That is part of our American dream. So, we're going to dive a little bit more into what the daily life looks like for someone that is trying to achieve that American dream, but the despair of the reality they live in. Because let's be honest, if you're living with massive amounts of credit card debt or even any amount of credit card debt, you're probably being funded by discovered bondage and American distress. And that's not a way that you should have to live. You shouldn't want to live that way. You should be able to want to own your money, keep your money, do what you want with your money. But you can't do that if it's all in debt payments. Can you? So we've talked in this entire video about the American dream / the American nightmare. But what is my actual biggest nightmare or my biggest financial fear? I'll tell you, and it's probably going to make me sound even more weird than the video from last week trying to tell you how I'm normal and not normal just like you. My biggest financial fear is having to make a decision between paying for the roof over our head, paying for the care of our child, or making debt payments. That's it. That's a reality that I don't want to live with because so many Americans are living with that. They are having to make these difficult decisions on a daily basis. What do they cover? What do they take care of today? That should not be the norm, but it is. And I want to go into some detail. I want to show you some numbers to give you the typical scenario of what a lot of Americans are going through right now, whether they're young or whether they're old. So I'm going to have a visual for you. I'll be talking behind the visual just so you are aware because my face will go ahead and disappear. But let's dive into that, okay? So this is the reality that a lot of Americans face. And this pretty much just looks like a basic, balance sheet, looking at your income and looking at your expenses, okay? So let's just say average American family. Let's say you're bringing in $4,600 a month. That's your take home, okay? That's what you're bringing in. 2 working parents. Average debt payments. Let's say they're the average American. They have 2 cars. They have some student loan debt in there. And they have credit card debt. And it's actually not very far off that they're making minimum payments of $2,000 a month. Now, half of their income is literally going to almost be gone in just childcare. Remember from the very first video we discussed, it takes about $1,100 to take care of a child on a monthly basis, okay? So, as you can see on the sheet here, we have the income at $4,600. Their minimum debt payments have to be made every single month. So that's $2,000 gone, automatically gone from their take-home pay. If they're paying rent, let's just average it at about $900 a month. And then they only have 1 child, so $1,100 for that 1 child. That's leaving them with a balance of $600 just after those mandatory things. Because of course, you have to make your debt payments, you have to keep a roof over your head, and you need to make sure that you are feeding and clothing and providing medical care for your child. Now, the average cost of groceries per month in America is $786. So if we take that amount out as well, we're already at a negative $186, meaning that family is having to find a way to come up with that money. Now, you have to have lights, gas, utilities. You have to have standard items for your household. So if we average that at $460 a month, they are left with $646 at the month left over. That means they have too much month left over than what they actually bring home. I'm not just making these numbers up. That is a reality for so many Americans. And if you don't believe me, if you ask them once again, like I said in the Finance for Thought video, to lift up their financial veil, would they be fat when it comes to money financially, or would they be fit? Average American, they're riddled with debt. They literally are working with an extra $646 a month, and they don't have it. So they put it on a credit card. So now they're even deeper in debt. That is a reality that I don't want to live with, because moms and dads are having to look and go, do we get diapers? Do we get formula? Do we take our kid to the doctor when they need to be cared for medically? Or do we pay for the roof over our head? Or do we send off payments for Sally Mae and for the car? And if we don't send payments off for the car, is the car going to get repossessed? Well, then how do I get to work? How do I get money? How do I take care of my family? This is the cycle that they're going through. And this is why parents are at the kitchen table crying their eyes out every night when their kids are asleep, because they don't know how they're going to do it. You have family members that will never disclose this to you. That's what they're going through all the time. That is their reality. That's something that I do not want for us. So you can think it's weird. You can think it's selfish. You can think any manner of things, to quite frankly be honest, because I'm a pretty brass person. You can think anything that you would want to think. But you need to know what the line is for you in the sand. And for me, I am A-okay with having a child and a mortgage or rent to take care of. I am not okay with adding a third onto that, which would be a child, mortgage, and debt payments. I'm not. Because if you simply look at the example that I'm showing you, they wouldn't have problems if they didn't actually have debt payments, would they? They would have an extra $2,000. And if they already have $600 for the month that's still left over, well, man, they almost have another $1,400 just in disposable income to do whatever they would like. Invest, save, plan. But that's not a reality this family has. And millions of Americans don't have this, they don't have that option. So I am hoping that watching these videos, watching this channel, we are going to take a look at how you can change your thinking, which will dictate your behaviors, which can give you a better outcome. I thank you so much for watching this video about the American dream, which has really become an American nightmare. And the very next video that you are going to watch will be about the support system that you need to gather if you are going to go on this process of getting out of debt and taking total control of your money. Thank you again. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Like this video, share this video, comment. Always let me know if there are specific topics or items that you want me to discuss, and I will see you guys later. Thank you.